morning. You are now watching CBM, a special coverage of Malaysian Biodiversity Management Channel. I'm Wan Saida.
And I'm Nursna. Topics related to wild animals in captivity are now increasingly being talked about by the local community.
Captive animals are wild animals which are kept in captivity and are dependent on humans to provide all their needs, where they will be placed in shelter or rescue center that provide shelter and care to the animals that have been abused, injured or sick, abandoned or orphaned, or illegally held.
However, management of animals in captivity nowadays poses significant issues, including those related to visitor satisfaction, animal welfare, space requirement, human abilities, veterinary cares, and financial requirement. Despite several examples of good practice, some wild animals kept in captivity suffer as a result of low welfare standards.
Therefore, several things need to be done to improve the management and husbandry of animals in captivity.
Many of us were taken to the zoo as kids, where we met and had the opportunity to see many wonderful species of animals. However, the zoo also has a dark side. Most of the animals confined in their compound are stressed. They lack access to everything that makes life interesting and enjoyable, since they are kept in constant confinement. And often, they die much earlier than they would die if they lived in the natural habitat.
As an example of what happened at the National Zoo, where there were several complaints from visitors about the zoo environment and the poor conditions the animals were in. Most sections in the zoo were dirty and smelly, and their water source was also dirty, as well as the condition of the animals is also unmanaged, seem skinny and malnourished. The lack of management and husbandry of animals in captivity will cause the animal to become stressed and show stereotype behavior, which are often monotonous, obsessive, repetitive action that serve no purpose. The most common stereotypes seen in captive animals can depend on species and individuals, but often include pacing, bar biting, overgrooming, and much more.
Therefore, the management of wildlife in captivity must be improved from the time to time. Now we continue with our reporter Zura, who is currently in Sunshine Zoo in interview session with the director of the zoo, Dr. Zamri.
Okay, now I'm with Dr. Zamri, the director of Sunshine Zoo, to explain how this zoo achieves success in animal husbandry and captive management.
Okay, let me explain about our zoo captivity. As you can see here, our zoo uses the concept of natural environment enclosure that allow high movement and space for animals to move around freely. We put in shelters such as cave to protect the animal from wind and rains. The cave is made of soundproof material to avoid noise from the surrounding that can disturb the animal. Not only that, we also put trees, bushes, and grasses in the animal enclosure to mimic their natural environment and also to increase their natural feeding opportunity, foraging, and shelter. For instance, if the animal natural habitat is a safari, we try our best to mimic the environment of the safaris in the species captivity.
Wow, it's quite interesting. But what about water surrounding the enclosure? What is the purpose and how deep is it?
We use water as mode for animals for drinking, playing, and temperature control. The water depth depend on the species to prevent them from escaping.
Oh, it's called modes. But did your zoo have any activity for the animals?
Yes, we have put a lot of arrangement in the captivity to promote their natural behavior and reduce the stereotype behaviors such as swinging, hanging bridge, log climbing, and resting stairs, according to what species that live in our captivity.
Okay, another question. Will the arrangement be permanent or temporary?
The answer to that question is our arrangement is only for temporary. All the arrangement will be changed frequently to increase the potential level of stimulation of the animal within their environment.
Okay, from what I have seen, The staff here seems to have very good skills in handling animals. Do the staff receive special training before handling animals?
Of course, our staff members have been trained in all areas of species management. Our zoo fund education course, related meeting, conference participation, and other professional opportunities for gaining an understanding of managing animal in captivity. Each species also has its own caretakers who is an expert in that species welfare.
Okay, I want to ask you one last question about how you keep the animals healthy. Are there any special needs at this zoo?
That is a good question. Our zoo have our own clinics and vet for giving treatment to injured animals. The staff are also responsible to monitor the animal health if there is change in animal behavior and will inform the vet for further details. The staff needs to be hygienic before, during, and after handling the animals. We also have quarantine place for sick and new animals to avoid spreading of the disease.
So that's the sharing about the management practice done at a Sunshine Zoo by the director of the zoo, Dr. Zamri, just now. So now we go back to the main stage. Thank you, Ms. Zura. After hearing about Sunshine Zoo's achievement, we came to the conclusion that it is important to maintain the welfare of animals in captivity to avoid mistreating the animals. We also recommend that the zoo build a captivity that has an environment where the animal can be stimulated both cognitively and physically to promote their natural behavior. I'm Wan Saida.
I'm Husna from CBM.